Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
A transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down.
Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then God so clothe the grass, which is today in the field and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
According to the Holy Scriptures, Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, is set to bring immortality to the nation of Israel, the elect, via establishing the tabernacle of David, as we talk about the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He is coming to take down this current world ruled by Esau, Edom, and establish a righteous kingdom, which is synonymous with the throne of David. That's scriptural, which is a government that's going to run this world in righteousness.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lick out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Push and get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, okay, is going into the book of Daniel, the third chapter, and dealing with the theme of, making a hard stance, taking a hard stance in righteousness, all right, in which we all right, are faced with daily. But now, all right, even more, okay, the devil gets to the point of making, certain decrees, okay? And as matter of fact, let's get this here real quick in the book of Romans, and it's the beautiful thing about the scriptures, okay? It's a living book, so we can always draw, okay, faith, okay, from this book, all right? No matter what, and it's unlimited. We can always read, the same stories and still, draw something new, a new perspective, draw out faith, okay? Draw out, a standard, because the Lord had it to where our forefathers, they said the standard for faith, okay, and standing stiffly, okay? And we're going to be in these same predicaments coming down the stretch, here in Babylon, here in this system, in this beast system, because you have, the elect, okay, throughout the earth, okay, and this system is going to be a global system, okay. Romans 15:4 said, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope, okay. So we through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. Okay. So everything that we, are about to go through, well, our forefathers, the Lord has set up where our forefathers, you know, even start with our King, Yahweh Shai. Okay. Well, they have laid an example, being obedient unto death. Okay. Not budging, you see, choosing the death. Okay. Over selling out. Okay. Choosing the death over bending the knee. You see? So we have, plenty of examples all throughout the scriptures of how we should be, and how much the more in these times now as we approach, the hour of temptation. Okay. Hey, every day is a step closer to that. We're going to have to deal. We're going to stand on everything that we've been teaching, everything that we've been learning. All right. Everything that we've been confessing. Okay. This is why, we constantly make sacrifices. All right. For this truth. Now, we're going to have to pass that ultimate test, man, which is the hour of temptation, when the decree of the MOTB is made mandated. Okay, and you won't be able to function in society without it. Okay, it says Daniel 3:1. It said Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth of 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. All right, so Nebuchadnezzar, he made what? An image likened unto himself. Okay, and this is what Esau is doing. He's making, all right, the world into the image of himself. Okay, with this, social engineering, all right, the psyops and, propaganda and enchantments and his technology. That's why he wants everything digital so he can have ultimate control to customize how he wants. Okay, so Esau Edom in this time, he's making an image, okay, unto himself. You see? And it says, then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, sent together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the councils, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and that they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Okay, so what? This is similar to Esau when it says what he calls it all. Okay, that's why you read verse 4. Then the herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people of nations and languages. You see? So just like, what we're seeing now, as Esau has, okay, authority over what? Nations and languages. Okay, he has a global authority. You see, Nebuchadnezzar, all right, he had a multinational, all right, authority. Okay, this decree expanded across, all right, nations. You see, it said that, and we're going to get this in Revelation, all right, 13, and link it up. All right, it's the same thing happening now in this beast system now. Okay, it said that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, all right, the king, have set up. And whoso falleth not down and worship it shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Now let's get this in Revelation 13, because now it's a decree, okay, which is going to be punishable by death. Okay, which we know there's a decree coming from this beast system, and eventually it's going to get to the point to where it's punishable by death. Okay, so when you get here to Revelation 13, okay, and 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And this is Esau. All right, beginning with the elites, they was able to what? Revive, all right, this Greco-Roman Empire, okay, back into the earth. You see, under the banner of America, NATO, and EU, this beast system. Okay, they brought that dragon back. Okay, Return of the Dragon. All right. It said that the image of the beast shall both speak, okay, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. You see? So when you go into it, just says Nebuchadnezzar set up an image to be worshipped. Well, this devil has set up the image of pagan Rome to be worshipped in the earth. Okay? He's caused it to speak while what? Bringing back, all right, that the customs of pagan Rome, the culture, the spirit, okay, the image, the likeness, from architecture to the gods to, okay, you see the culture is speaking, okay, and now it's to the point to where if you're not in alliance with this revived Greco-Roman Empire, this beast system, all right, that there's going to be a decree, okay, of death. Okay, and also a decree, because first you're going to be an outcast, which that's like a furnace, not being able to buy and sell in this society, that's going to be like a furnace. That's going to be, a torment. We're going to have to choose the torment, and believe that the Lord got us. Okay, so what did Nebuchadnezzar do? Did he not call, all the rulers, from the rulers to the common man? Did he not call them, okay, to reverence that image? Verse 16, Revelation 13:16, and he calls it, okay, all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive, all right, a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, so it's this is going to be a decree, just as Nebuchadnezzar, okay, he made a decree. Well, Esau is going to make a decree, okay, rich and poor, all classes, going to be he's going to cause everyone, okay. So let's get this word, cause it.
Strong's G 4160, poieo. Poieo.
Poieo. All right, and it says to make. Okay, let's see. Yep, it says to constitute, to appoint a thing. All right, to appoint anything, to appoint or ordain one thing, to declare one thing. All right, it says to make one do something. This is going to be mandated. Okay, when it says he calls it, this is going to be a mandate. Okay, just as King Nebuchadnezzar, he made a mandate. All right, dealing with bowing down to his image. Okay, so we're in them same times now. All right, he's gonna make a decree. You see? So let's go here, back to Daniel 3:7. It says, and therefore at that time when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up. Okay, so the majority, okay, they worship, they bent the knee. Okay, and then you're gonna have amongst, okay, and then see, this was when what Jake was in captivity. So amongst the captives, okay, of the Israelites of the southern kingdom that was there, what are you gonna have? What, a remnant? Okay, it's not gonna budge. It said, wherefore at that time certain Chaldees came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews who thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all right, which are Azariah, Ananiah, and Mishael, all right, in Hebrew. It said, these men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image that thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake unto them and said, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve? It said, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Okay. Reading on, it says, now, if you be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if you worship not, you shall be cast. All right, the same hour. Oh, hold on. Yeah, it says, now if you be ready, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the paltry, the dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if you worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Okay, so now Nebuchadnezzar, in his mind, he's giving them grace, so you best believe he's expecting them to beg. Okay, he's expecting them to be grateful. Okay, and then he's challenging the Most High. You see, and this devil, he's finna get to the point to where he wants to challenge the Most High and see, okay, if our power, is going to defend us. All right, that's why you can even go here, the Book of Wisdom of Solomon. Okay, which this goes into the mind of Esau when you go into this book. All right, it's the book of the Wisdom of Solomon. I believe it's chapter 2. All right, so you go here, get this book, the Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 2. So let's jump down, all right, because these devils, all right, these Edomites, they finna tempt the Most High, okay, by trying his men, by trying his people, the believers, okay. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2:12. It said, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraided us, okay, with our offending the law and the objection to our infamy, the transgression of our education. Okay, basically what us calling this man out. Okay, as we have a standard now in the scriptures, and according to the standard of the scripture, this devil is off. Okay, and we're constantly calling this man out. Okay, about their doings according to the scriptures. You see, just like John the Baptist was calling out, Herod, okay, at the time. You see, so we're in that same state. Okay, and now the devil is getting to the point he wants to take action. He wants to respond to that. And a lot of things that he's been doing, his propaganda and the moves he's making, it's a response to this word going out. Okay, it said he professes to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he called himself the child of the Lord, the Israelite, Yasha, he prince of the power. He was made to reprove our thoughts. You see, because we built different, man. Okay, remember, we're of the righteous. Esau is the wicked. Good is set against evil. Okay, so it's in us to reprove wickedness, man. And there's men that the Lord has established as the prophets. okay, as an authority in the earth, man. Okay, and it says he is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's, his ways are of another fashion, just like Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. It wasn't like everybody else. Okay, they didn't have no intent on bending the knee. You see, just like now we've stopped submitting, okay, to the ways of this beast system, of this image. We stopped being conformed to the image of this beast, and now we're being conformed to Yahushua, okay, which makes us stand out, okay, like Mishael, Hananiah, and Azariah. All right, it said we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounces the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father. Okay, so these devils, you know, are to the point, okay, to where they're pissed, okay, constantly being called counterfeits. You know, they're pretending to be us. Okay, constantly getting called out about it. Constant, you know, truths and exposure coming out on it. Okay, and this devil knows that there's a remnant of Israelites that's not complying. All right, there's not, okay, worshiping his image anymore. He said he knows that there's Israelites that's not celebrating these holidays, going to church, okay, calling on, these pagan gods, okay, participating, okay, in this beast system, man. You see, he knows that there's a remnant that's not doing that anymore. He's wiser than Daniel. There's no secret that they can hide from. So he knows that there's a remnant that's not bending the knee, you know? And it says, let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of their enemy. So Esau is hyping himself up to go with his move. He wants to test that theory, you know? If these are sons of God, let's see what's going to be, how he's going to respond when we make our move. So he's been put in the same trick bag as Pharaoh. Okay, it said, let's examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he will be respected. Yeah, being a martyr in this thing. To die for Yahushua is an honorable thing, and we have examples of that. Our forefathers dying, all right, for Yahweh Bashim al-Shah. All right. It says, such things did they imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness had blinded them, man. And Nebuchadnezzar, he was blinded, all right, because he thought his decree was the end all be all. That's why eventually the Lord humbled him, and removed him from his throne. Had him living like a beast. With Nebuchadnezzar, right now, he's speaking as if he's, okay, the highest authority in existence. Okay, because he made the statement, who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Okay, so verse 16, Daniel 3:16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. Okay, so they set the tone from the door, like, look, we're not, careful to answer thee. We not, really ain't nothing to talk about. When you go into, like, it ain't nothing to talk about with this. Okay, you know what I stand on. All right. It said, if it be so, our power, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. So they knew that the Lord was able. There was no doubt about that the Lord was able to deliver them out that situation. Okay. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy power, all right, thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So they made a hard stance. All right, they took a hard stance in righteousness, man. We're the point where we're finna have to do the same. Okay? It said, then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more, that it was wont to be heated. So he got it hot as he can get it. So he's pissed. Just like Esau, he's pissed. Okay? And Esau, he has in his mind to do the worst to us, man. Especially those that believe. He wants to wipe out as many Israelites as he can. But you best believe that he has a special hatred for those that believe, man. All right, that are not bending the knee to his system. Okay, it says that he commanded the most mighty men that were in army to bind Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace, man. So best believe the devil, he's going to send for brothers. He's going to come for brothers, man. All right, it ain't going to be no regular, law enforcement, ICE. Nah, he's going to send, I'm telling you what he's going to send their brothers, man. Okay, because he's hearing this message going out, hear about this power, and, Esau going to come with it. He going to throw everything at the prophets, man. Okay. I said, then these men were bound in their coats, all right, their hosen and their hats and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. So they was bound. Pretty much, tied up, man, like from head to toe almost, man. It said, therefore, because the king's command was urgent, the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So the men, those mighty men, okay, of Babylon, all right, the fire destroyed them. You see? So the Lord is already at work. You see, we have a power that's going to fight for us, man. You see? Esau, this ain't gonna be nowhere near like Esau think. That's why it say the wisdom of Solomon, these things have they imagined. Okay, there are gonna be martyrs. Okay. But that's not the end all be all. There's gonna be power. There's gonna be a standard lifted too against this devil. Okay, and that's gonna be all right, the thing. It's gonna be emphasis on that standard. Okay, it says, and these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, I see four men loose. So Yahushua had unbound them. So they was moving freely in the fire. You see, they was moving freely in the fire, so it wasn't bound. Like, see, Esau was putting a squeeze on everybody, through this economy, herding them into this new system for them to bend the knee. Okay, but it said these four men were loose. Okay, so we got to look at that like, okay, they was loose. They wasn't bound to the king's decree. You see, we're not going to be bound to the decrees of Esau saying we can't eat, we can't. No. The scriptures say different. Okay. And let's get, all right, precept on this. Let's finish this. He answered and said, lo, I see four men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they had no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of Man. So Yahushua was in there. So Yahushua was with him, and he loosed him. You see, Yahushua authority is above Nebuchadnezzar. It's above Esau. Okay, so the decrees of Esau, all right, they don't hold weight, okay, to what the Lord has commanded. All right, and the Lord has commanded certain things. We're not going to be bound by these decrees. Okay, let's get this here in Isaiah, which we always get. Okay, this is the book of Isaiah 65. All right, and And 13 said, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. See, this is the decree from on high. And it triumphs what Esau gonna be talking about, man. Okay? The Lord's servants, all right, gonna be loosed from the decrees of Esau, Edom. Okay, we're not gonna be bound to the circumstances that these people are gonna be bound to. You know, we're gonna lose things. We're gonna, it's gonna be uncomfortable because they was bound. They was uncomfortable that moment they was unbound. I mean, that moment that they was bound, you can imagine, that was uncomfortable for them to be bound up like that. Okay, so there's gonna be times of difficulties, the straight gate. Okay, so where we just gonna be subjugated to the mercy of the Lord. We're not gonna have ability to do anything but depend on the Lord. Okay, so they was bound for a moment, but then they was loose. Okay, why? Because of another decree from the heavens. Okay, it triumphs the decree of Esau. Okay, it said, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, or ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Okay, so we're going to be in a good case, man. When this is all said and done, we're going to be in a good case, man. Okay, we're not going to be bound to what these people are finna be bound to, man. Okay, this is the book of Job, chapter 4. Okay, and 19. He said, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yeah. In 7, there shall no evil touch thee. And this is, the deliverance. Okay. And these 6 troubles leading up to what? The nukes. Because the nuke, the 7 Trump. Okay. That's the nukes, the complete destruction. Okay. Of America. All right. In this system, man. You see? And that's what we're going to be, beamed up. Okay. It says, in famine, he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Yeah, this devil's decrees. Okay, his decrees ain't gonna hold weight. Okay, against the elect. All right, even though they have to be martyrs, guess what? They're gonna be resurrected, so it's still gonna be overturned. Okay, neither shall thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh, and destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Okay, says the famine and destruction we shall laugh. Neither shall thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, man. So we're gonna have the Lord's favor in this time. Okay, we're gonna be favored in this time. We're gonna be loose in the midst of affliction. We're gonna be loose. You see, and these people gonna be bound. Okay, so let's go here. Second Ezra 2. And we go back to Daniel. All right, this is the book of Second Ezra chapter 2. All right, in verse 27 said, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, Salaki. It said, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. You see? So the elect gonna be in good case, man. Even as martyrs, we're gonna be in the spiritual realm. If we have to be martyrs, we're gonna be in the spiritual realm. We're gonna be good either way. All right. It says the heathen, and that's only for a moment until we're resurrected, raised up immortal. Okay, it said the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, said the Lord. All right, Nebuchadnezzar was able to do nothing, okay, against the Lord's servants. Okay, Hananiah, Mishael, all right, Azariah, they was able to do nothing with them. Okay, so let's go here. Back to Daniel 3. So let's read 25 again. It says, he answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire. They have no hurt. All right. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of Man. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High, all right, come forth and come thither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth out of the midst of the fire, and the princes, and governors, and captains, and the kings, the counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose body the fire had no power. You see? So Esau's affliction and his order out of chaos, it's not going to have authority over the elect. Okay? It's going to take us through changes. It's not going to have authority over us, man. The Lord going to bring us through that fire, that affliction. Okay? It said, nor was an hair on their head singed. You see? Neither was their coats, all right, changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Okay? Unscathed. You see? All through what? Yahweh Shai. Okay? Yahweh Shai is going to be intervening in a major way, man. The angels are going to be dispatched. Okay? By the orders of our power in these times, man. All right? Expect miracles, man. Speaking to myself first and foremost, man, we got to expect miracles, man. It said, then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, blessed, all right, be the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent, all right, it said, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him and have changed the king's word. You see that? Have changed the king's word, overrode, voided out the decree of Nebuchadnezzar. So the Lord gonna be voiding out Esau's decrees on behalf of the elect. The Lord finna show that he is. Okay? He's finna show that he is. And he's always been. You see? And it says, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any God except their own power. Okay? Except their own power, man. You see? The Nebuchadnezzar know that they not going. Okay? He with them. I can't do nothing with them. You see? Therefore, I make a decree that every people, nation, language, and tongue which speak anything amiss against the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut off. All right, shall be cut in pieces, and the houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other power that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Ultimately, all right, at this time, we're going to be promoted with joint heirs with Yahushua. Once we come through this fire, okay, we're gonna be promoted to those joint heirs, man. You see, well, we have to pass the test. You see, that's why we go to Revelation 2 and 25. You see, this is an example of holding fast. They held fast, to their faithfulness to their power. You know, they would rather die than bend the knee. Okay. It said Revelation 2:25 said, but that which you have already hold fast till I come. Okay. And Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, they held fast. You know, they held fast until, you know, the Lord intervened. You see, we're gonna have to hold fast until the Lord intervenes in our situations, man. And the Lord takes us through small doses of this now, small doses of affliction where we have to wait. You know, when we bound, we can't do anything. We just have to wait on the Lord. And he comes through every time. Every time he comes through. You know? The fact that we still here doing what we do is a testimony every time he came through. Because we all go through, you know, particular things. All right. It said, but that which you have already, hold fast till I come, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Okay? Power over the nations, man. You see, their promotion and great promotion. Okay? So for enduring this, we're gonna get that promotion from Yahushua. It's gonna be forever, you know. So that was a point, you know, just want to go into that Lord will. All right, you brothers and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation, the hopeful Shalom.